ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news involving Tiger Woods under arrest for DUI following a crash near his home in Florida. Police responding to the scene, Tiger Woods rolling his SUV onto its side. Woods can be seen there in the background. Tonight, Woods is now behind bars, accused of speeding and driving under the influence. The golfing great involved in multiple crashes in recent years, including 2021, when he nearly lost part of his right leg and struggled ever since to make a comeback. ABC's Victor Kendo leading us off tonight with what we know so far.
Tonight, Tiger Woods facing DUI charges after authorities say he crashed and rolled his Land Rover this afternoon.
Our DUI investigators came to the scene here, and Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment.
Martin County sheriffs say Woods was traveling at a high rate of speed and overtook a truck on a two-lane road on Jupiter Island, not far from his house.
Mr. Woods was overtaking him at a high rate of speed before he clipped the back end and rolled his vehicle over on the driver's door. The individual driving that Land Rover was able to crawl out the passenger door of the car and was identified to be Mr. Tiger Woods.
Police say Woods was not injured and passed a breathalyzer that tested for alcohol, but refused to take a blood or urine test and was arrested for DUI. In 2021, Woods nearly had to have part of his right leg amputated after the SUV he was driving rolled multiple times outside Los Angeles.
You're stopped in the road, in the middle of the road.
In 2017, Woods was charged with DUI after police say he was found by police passed out behind the wheel of his damaged SUV. He later pled guilty to reckless driving. And in 2009, Woods crashed his Cadillac Escalade into a fire hydrant just feet from his home amid rumors about his marriage to then-wife Ellen Nordegren. This week, the 50-year-old, 15-time major champion played in ESPN's indoor TGL League and fielded questions about whether he would commit to playing in this year's Masters tournament set for next month.
I've been trying. It's just this body it doesn't recover like it was when I was 24, 25. Doesn't mean I'm not trying. I've been trying for a while.
President Trump weighing in on the incident late today.
He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulty. I don't want to talk about it.
David, tonight Tiger Woods is in jail. Florida law requires DUI suspects be held in jail for 8 hours before they can be released on bond. We've reached out to Tiger's team for comment. We have not heard back. But with the Masters just weeks away, his tournament hopes now in doubt. David?
Victor Kendo leading us off tonight. Victor, thank you.
I know I can't do everything myself, but I feel very fortunate that I do have a great team around me. The beauty about having a great team is
this evening, the chaos at America's airports. Overnight, the Senate passing a funding bill that would have paid the TSA workers. But then today, House Republicans rejecting it. And tonight, President Trump signing an order to pay the workers. So what's happening on the Hill, and when will TSA workers see the paychecks now being promised by the president? Here's Rachel Scott.
Hours after the Senate voted to reopen the Department of Homeland Security and pay some 50,000 TSA agents, tonight House Republicans blocking the plan. Senators have already left town.
Are you thinking everything's resolved, working out well? The House is going to do their job?
Well, we'll see.
But House Republicans are not on board. Speaker Mike Johnson attacking the Senate bill for taking out money for ICE and Border Patrol, even though those agencies were already fully funded by the president's domestic policy law.
This gambit that was done last night is a joke.
Democrats hope the partial government shutdown would pressure Republicans to reform immigration enforcement after federal officers killed protesters Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. That didn't happen. The Senate deal left the door open for more negotiation.
Millions of Americans are being inconvenienced all across the country, and there's chaos at airports throughout the land. The only thing standing between ending this chaos or not are House Republicans.
But tonight, House Republicans won't budge.
I spoke to the president a few moments ago. He understands exactly what we're doing and why, and he supports it.
Now President Trump going around Congress, ordering DHS to start paying those TSA agents. DHS saying they should start seeing paychecks on Monday.
David, the question tonight, how long will these TSA workers keep getting paid as this partial government shutdown drags on? Right now, there is no end in sight, and Americans are left to wonder as lawmakers leave town for a 2-week recess. David.
Rachel, thank you. On this note, tonight, travelers in these long lines with their own words tonight for Congress, and the TSA workers asking why they're repeatedly being used as political pawns. Here's Steve Osunsami.
With the promise of a paycheck on Monday, travelers tonight are hoping that TSA officers will come back to work and end the frustrating lines through security at America's airports.
It is snaking around the whole outside. We're not even inside the building yet.
In Baltimore, it's a 3-hour wait, and there were few kind words for members of Congress who still haven't agreed on giving the TSA their regular pay.
Every member of Congress, Senate and House should be put in the back of these lines and experience this.
TSA workers missed another full paycheck today, and some of them tell us they're tired of being pawns in political fights and needing food pantries to feed their kids.
I've heard there will be many more people who are considering quitting just because of the fact that we're in danger of shutdowns all the time here. This is our third shutdown within 6 months. And at this point, today marks the day where we are at 50% of this fiscal year. We've been in an unpaid status.
Across the country, nearly 3,500 unpaid TSA workers didn't go to work on Thursday, leading to these 4-hour lines in Houston. In Atlanta, where in the mornings the lines have been hours long, they want this over.
I think that they're not working for me. I think that they're working for themselves. They're working for their party, and I think that they need to do the job. And if they're not doing the job, we need to kick them out.
The nation's TSA workers are now being told that they will start getting paid for their last 3 pay periods on Monday, and that money will come by direct deposit. They're also being told that come tomorrow, they'll need to start coming into work on their normal schedules. David.
And of course, we'll continue to follow it all for them. Steve, thank you. There is breaking news at this hour in the war in Iran. ABC News tonight has learned 12 American service members have been injured, some seriously, after an Iranian missile and drone attack on a base in Saudi Arabia. Also tonight here, what sources are now telling ABC News what Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told U.S. allies about how long this war could last. Tonight, global oil above $100 a barrel, the Dow losing nearly 800 points today alone. The NASDAQ and S&P 500 down as well. Matt Rivers tonight on these American service members seriously injured. Let's go to him live from the region again tonight. Matt, what have you learned?
Yeah, David, we are just learning that those 12 U.S. service members were injured earlier today at a U.S. air base in Saudi Arabia after that Iranian attack. 2 of them seriously wounded as this war rages on. Tonight, sources telling ABC News Secretary of State Marco Rubio told G7 leaders in France the war in Iran could last another 2 to 4 weeks.
We are on or ahead of schedule in that operation and expect to conclude it at the appropriate time here in a matter of weeks, not months.
2,200 Marines are set to arrive in the Middle East any day now, and up to 1,500 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne preparing to deploy. Sparking speculation, the Pentagon is preparing for a possible ground offensive in Iran. But tonight, Secretary Rubio saying the U.S. can still achieve its goals without putting boots on the ground.
We can achieve them without any ground troops, without any.
Those troops headed to the region as the U.S. looks to break Iran's chokehold on the critical Strait of Hormuz, sending shockwaves through global energy markets, oil and gas prices skyrocketing. Global oil prices tonight above $100 a barrel. Gas prices in the U.S. closing in on $4 per gallon. Drivers in many parts of the country already paying more than that to fill up. Prices up more than $1 since President Trump started the war. And David, back to that breaking news. We now know that 12 U.S. service members were injured in an Iranian attack on this U.S. airbase earlier today in Saudi Arabia. 2 of them seriously wounded. We also know several aircraft were damaged as a result of that attack. More than 300 U.S. service members, the Pentagon says, have been wounded since this war began. At least 13, David, have lost their lives.
Matt Rivers on the breaking news from the region again tonight for us. Matt, thank you. Meantime, back here in the U.S. tonight, the deadly crash of a tour helicopter in Hawaii. The helicopter going down right into the ocean. At least 3 people killed and the urgent rescue effort for others on board. Here's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, 3 people are dead and 2 others flown to the hospital after a tour helicopter crashed off this Hawaii beach. Overturned wreckage bobbing in the water. Officials say the helicopter plummeted into a sandbar off the island of Kauai just before 4 p.m. Thursday, about 30 minutes after taking off. A pilot and 4 passengers on board. The Coast Guard and Good Samaritans racing to the scene. It's the latest in a number of chopper crashes on Kauai. In 2024, a pilot and 2 passengers were killed after the NTSB says their helicopter broke apart after encountering turbulence.
And David, in a statement tonight, Airborne Aviation, the operator of that tour helicopter, calling this crash devastating, adding they're cooperating with the NTSB's investigation. David?
Morgan Norwood reporting. Thank you. We move on now to a brazen security breach tonight. The hack involving the head of the FBI, his personal email, private email and photos posted online, and who's allegedly behind it. The FBI now responding, and here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas now.
Tonight, cyber warfare unleashed, with an Iranian-linked group hacking FBI Director Kash Patel's personal email and posting private messages involving Patel's family and photographs of him at a time before he became director.
As this war continues and as the regime is under tremendous pressure, it wouldn't surprise me to hear that the Iranians are potentially trying to take things to an even higher level than what they've done already.
The hack and posting apparently in direct retaliation for the Justice Department taking down several websites associated with the group known as Handala earlier this month. Tonight, Handala bluntly describing why they targeted Patel. Quote, "While the FBI proudly seized our domains, we decided to respond to this ridiculous show in a way that will be remembered forever." The group claims to have emails, conversations, documents, and even classified files. David, the FBI says the hacked material is historical in nature and involves no government information. And the FBI says the U.S. is offering a $10 million reward for information about the Handala hackers. David?
Pierre Thomas tonight. Pierre, thank you. Tonight, the Secret Service agent assigned to former First Lady Jill Biden has been wounded, accidentally shooting himself in the leg while escorting the former First Lady at the airport in Philadelphia. Authorities say the agent is in stable condition tonight. The wound is not life-threatening. They're calling it a, quote, negligent discharge. The former First Lady was not nearby. When we come back tonight, what we've just learned from that NASA astronaut who suffered that medical emergency in space. He couldn't talk for 20 minutes in space, and what doctors are saying so far. Also, look at this, a close call on the slopes, a skier performing stunts, missing a child right there by just inches. Also tonight, a frightening road rage encounter, the new arrest this evening. Look at this, like father, like son, the famous football star. This is his 14-year-old son tonight, looking just like his Hall of Fame dad. And the Disney legends have been revealed tonight, and one iconic leader who says it's been the ride of a lifetime. In a moment. Tonight, the case of the alleged Long Island serial killer. Sources telling ABC News the alleged Gilgo Beach killer could change his plea to guilty. Rex Heuermann returns to court April 8th. That's when sources say he could switch his not guilty plea to guilty as part of a plea deal. Heuermann stands accused of killing 7 women whose remains were found on Long Island between 1993 and 2010. A very close call on the slopes in Durango, Colorado. A skier performing a stunt. Look at this, narrowly missing a child. The skier going over that jump, just missing the child. The skier saying he didn't see the little snowboarder until the last second. When we come back here tonight, the astronaut and what he reveals about that medical scare in space, what he couldn't do. And like father, like son tonight, look at this, the young quarterback looking just like his Hall of Fame dad. Can you guess who his famous dad is? We'll be right back. To the index of other news tonight, a driver arrested in a road rage encounter in Southern California. A cyclist capturing this BMW in a bike lane, appearing to trail him and another cyclist in Newport Beach. One cyclist veering off the road to avoid being hit. A passenger in the BMW then throwing water at them. Police arresting Samir Weiss and seizing his car now. Weiss is now charged with assault. The NASA astronaut who suffered that medical scare offering new insight tonight, Mike Fink, says he suddenly could not speak for 20 minutes on the International Space Station. His crew, of course, noticing him in distress. It prompted that first medical evacuation for NASA. Fink now saying doctors believe it was not choking or a heart attack, but he's still undergoing tests to determine what it really was. Well, like father, like son tonight, Peyton Manning's 14-year-old son catching attention online for his football skills. Look at this. Marshall Manning running through quarterback drills during training in Chattanooga. The video has sports fans comparing Marshall's moves to his dad, from the way he ducks, holds the ball high, and his overall form. Looking pretty good there. When we come back here on the broadcast tonight, honoring Disney legends, including Bob Iger. This new list just out tonight, and you've got to see it.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Cobenfy.
Tonight, the new list of Disney legends. They're in a league of their own.
Tonight, 70 years since the gates of Disneyland opened in Anaheim, California, and the words of Walt Disney.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
There have been those inspired by Walt who have helped shape Disney into the company it's become. For nearly 40 years now, the prestigious Disney Legend Awards, a select few who've made an indelible mark on Disney. The 2026 honorees just announced, including ESPN anchor Chris Berman, producer Jerry Bruckheimer, actress Susan Egan, animator Eric Goldberg, actress Anne Hathaway, Imagineer Kim Irvine, actor Dwayne Johnson, musicians the Jonas Brothers, songwriter and actor Lin-Manuel Miranda, actor Alan Tudyk, and perhaps the most notable this year, the leader of Disney for more than 2 decades, Bob Iger, who has now handed over the reins to Josh D'Amaro. A storybook ending for Bob, a visionary CEO and chairman who worked his way up at Disney, beginning at ABC News more than 5 decades ago.
I started at this company as a studio supervisor working on shows like AM America, which was the precursor to Good Morning America, and ABC Sports and a lot of other things, never expecting that I would end up having the opportunity to run one of the greatest companies in the world.
Under Bob's leadership, Disney acquiring Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, 21st Century Fox.
Now, family, put on the mouse ears.
In 2019, opening the Disney Vault with Disney Plus.
That's a big deal. All Disney in one place never existed before. That's going to Disneyland every day of the week.
Growing the parks, there was Shanghai.
Well, look who's here. Your vision, Bob.
Welcome to Shanghai Disneyland.
And setting into motion the newest park in Abu Dhabi.
I saw that image of you, Bob, that you posted.
Yes, walking on the property that will one day be Disneyland. When Josh and I first visited, we stood on that same property, and you look at the water and you look at the sand, and you think, well, we can do this.
A friend and mentor to so many of us, I asked Bob about something he wrote in his book, The Ride of a Lifetime.
At the end of this grand sort of experiment, this voyage of yours, that you still feel like the little kid from a simpler time, a simpler place, and that has been one of the keys to your leadership. Does that still hold true?
It does, David. You know, first of all, I remember watching the Mickey Mouse Club on a small black and white television in my home in Brooklyn, New York in the mid-50s. And who would have ever dreamed that one day I'd be running the company that guy that created that program created or started. But yes, I think humility is very important, and really remembering where you came from and who you were, because in reality, you know, we're still made up of the same DNA as we were when we were born, and that's how I view myself. But deep down, I don't feel like a different person at all. I'm the same person I've always been.
Which is a testament to your success.
Bob Iger with a lesson for us all. Stay true to who you are. He certainly did. The big event this August, and we can't wait. I'll see you Monday. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.